Hey, it's Ricky from All Sorts of Words, and I've been doing YouTube for 6 months now. Shut up. In the very beginning, when my channel first got started, I created 2 videos called Everything I've Learned After 1 month, and then I did another one, Everything I Learned After 2 months, and I thought this was something that I'd keep rolling, but comic book content, she's a beast, and it just kind of got away from me. So now that I'm at the 6-month mark and it's December 21st and we are officially in the season of giving, I thought I would give 3 pieces of advice that I think would help brand new channels that want to get off the ground. I've been able to make a channel just shy of 200 subscribers. So I consider that not nothing. And I'm not giving up on this channel or the amount of effort that I'm putting in, but I wanted to kind of, what's the reverse of gatekeeping? Gate opening, where I can bring in some people who might want to try doing this. I think there's a market for people who watch YouTube that want to get into it and they need a little bit of encouragement. And so I've got 3 pieces of advice for y'all. Number 1 is going to be, it's just very physical, a physical thing that you can do that I think will either help you get started making your videos or improve the videos you have. Number 2 is kind of how to write the videos so that they come off really natural and they're a little bit more engaging than you might be used to. And then 3, just a little bit of emotional encouragement. So let's get started. When I first started making YouTube videos, like seriously, go back and just open a tab and check them out. I was always sitting down. I enjoyed making those videos. I don't want you to think that they were like a pain in the ass or anything, but I found that my natural position for talking to y'all is a standing position. And I'm kind of a big dude. And so when I sit down, I bunch up, you know, here, see that? Look at all that. You love it. But when I stand up, I feel like I slim out a little bit naturally. That's kind of how human bodies work. Beyond that, I think standing does something to my energy level. It forces me to engage a lot more than I would if I'm in this like kind of laissez-faire, comfortable position. I've tried different spots all over my house to try to get comfortable. Like one video, I sat at my kitchen table. One video that I deleted because I hated it. I was sitting on this like big leather couch that I have right there. I've even done some editing where I was laying on my living room couch and trying to find the sweet spot of what can make me the most comfortable. And for me, at least, I've found that being on my feet, standing, looking directly into the camera, this has done something to my own engagement. I'm more present when I'm on my feet. And so I don't want this to be an advertisement for like, get on your feet, kids. Although maybe you should stand up every now and then. More or less, this is just an advertisement for whatever gives you that energy boost, whatever makes you more engaged with this camera, with this microphone, with the space that you have is probably what you should be doing. So listen to your body, listen to yourself and how you feel when you make these videos, not just what's comfortable. This is gonna sound a little weird, but I think that maybe for me, at least, comfort is kind of the enemy because the more comfortable I get, the lazier I get. I need to be a little off kilter to give my best performance. Find what fits your style, find what fits your voice, and then do that. Number 2. I didn't know anything about video editing when I started. So everything that you see, everything that you've witnessed on this channel, or maybe will witness if you stick around. I don't know, maybe like subscribe or something. Everything you see has been cultivated just by doing it and practicing. And so this is a style that I haven't really seen anybody talk about. And so maybe this is an alternative to just kind of filming yourself and not really editing at all. I want to talk about creating a page structure, a sentence structure with your editing. Let me show you what I mean. Picture this space as a page in a book, right? And then picture your position in the room, your position in front of the camera as a paragraph. Once you see how I structure my videos, I think you'll see it in all of my videos. Let me kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. When I was 16 years old, I was hanging out with a female friend of mine, and we both needed jobs for the holiday season. And I was putting out applications everywhere because my parents were not so helpful when it came to paying my bills. This girl, however, she didn't necessarily have the same financial woes that I did. So she really didn't care about applying as much or as often as I was. So this one day we're hanging out and she lives right down the street from a Toys R Us. So I'm thinking to myself, hey, Toys R Us, the holidays, I'm sure they're hiring. Maybe I can get a job there. She does not care about applying for a job at Toys R Us. She actually thinks it's going to be a lot of work, which in retrospect, she was right. But I pressured her and I was just like, hey, can you just come with me? Like, please. And I went and I applied. She actually went with me, but she didn't apply at all. That's the job where I met my future wife, Helen. And I think all the time, like, what if I had just given in to my laziness and hung out with my friend and not gone to Toys R Us that night? Because I did get other calls from other jobs after that. And so if I hadn't gone out and applied that night, someone else would have hired me and I would have never met the woman I'd spend the rest of my life with. Now, did you see how I was just moving around with each part of the story? The reason why I started doing that initially was because I found that moving positions around a room helped me organize my thoughts. In this spot over here, I'm beginning the story. Why am I looking for a job? Then when I flicker over here, it's the barriers to why I wouldn't have gone and looked for this job. Like, what was tempting me to stay home? And then finally, when I move up front, I'm revealing the point of the story. The fact that if this butterfly effect hadn't had happened, I would have never met my future wife. So it helps me organize my thoughts. But what I'm really doing is I'm breaking my story into visual paragraphs for the viewer. So as I'm telling the tale, I'm moving about the space so that you can see and keep up with the different parts of the story. The point I'm trying to make is the different positions in the room are like paragraphs and if you can break your story into paragraphs and move about the space with cuts, you can start to make a more visual journey for your viewer. Now, what about random close-ups? We've all seen them. I use random close-ups as punctuation in my video. So if I'm telling a story where there is a question mark or an exclamation point, sometimes even a comma, that's when I put in those little camera changes that bring the focus in a little bit more. Let me give you an example. So the other day I'm at the grocery store, just picking up a couple stupid things, not thinking about it, right? And this old lady cuts right in front of me. And I'm thinking to myself, did this bitch just cut in front of me? Or the other day, my wife and I are at the movie theater and the trailers start. And almost as if the trailer was the reason for the fight, two people 2 rows ahead of us started fisticuffs immediately. No words were exchanged, just a fist fight broke out right in front of us. And I was like, what? You see what I did there? What I wanted to do was I wanted to add an emphasis on a word or an emphasis on a moment. And that's when I brought it in. Sometimes when I want to do like a funny expression where I'm like, what the hell? That deserves a close-up. So I don't speak the language of film. I didn't go to film school. This camera and me filming now, this is the most I've filmed aside from like fucking around with my friends in like 7th grade and making movies. So I'm trying to organize how to film make. I've found that by looking at this camera, this relationship, these actions as words on a page, the videos come out a lot more interesting than your typical like guy sitting in front of the camera holding up comic books. Another thing, and this is just a bonus that I just thought of, use color changing filters to represent multiple characters in a story so that you don't have to change clothes. You don't have to do costumes. You can just change the color filter and it still conveys the same information to the viewer. Here's what I mean. Look, I love Batman. I wish he was kinder to his Robins. You know what I mean? Like Batman was a kid that had a lot of trauma. And then he brings these kids into his life and he kind of has these like freak out moments where you think like maybe he's not so well. I just wish there was like a bigger undercurrent of kindness with the Robins that he works with. Oh, come on. Batman loves Dick. What's funny? Oh, I hear it now. See what I mean? Just a quick little bonus. Okie dokie. This is a really personal one that I hope doesn't resonate with a lot of people because then I can just be crazy and suffer. But if you're someone who suffers from this too, I want you to know you're not alone. Teddy Roosevelt said, comparison is the thief of joy. And Twain liked that so much that he added the word death and said comparison is the death of joy. And I believe that. So I've been doing this for 6 months, right? And I am on the cusp of 200 subscribers. Like I'm right there on the line. Still 300 away from monetization, but that's like a fever dream with how far I am. And whenever I find a comic book YouTuber who I'm enjoying, I find myself kind of like piggishly on my phone going into their channel and then filtering to oldest videos to see how long they've been doing it and then comparing our subscriber counts, because I'm a masochist, I guess. I don't know why I feel this way, but it's almost like if someone has 700 subscribers and they've been doing this for 5 years, I feel like I'm beating them. And that makes me feel good about myself, which is like the shittiest feeling. I shouldn't feel that way, but I'm trying to be honest here. That's just the reaction I get. Whereas alternatively, if someone's only been doing this for 8 months and they have 4 times the subscriber count that I have, I think like what the hell's wrong with me? Why am I not as good as them? And I need to just stop. And I don't have an answer for that yet. I wish I could end this video with like, and here's how you cure your own mental deficiencies. But I don't have an answer. I need to get better. I need to get more conscious about the fact that I'm doing what I can to the best of my abilities, and I am growing and I am learning. And part of me doing this video today is kind of an advertisement of that. Like, watch this video, watch the editing techniques, watch what I've been doing, and then go back and watch one of my other earlier videos, like one of my early ones, like the first like 5, and you'll see this discrepancy in ability that I have, how much better I am at doing this now. And so I think to myself, like 8 months from now, I'm only going to be better. And then 8 months from that, I'm only going to be better. And maybe it takes me 3 or 4 years to get to that 1,000 subscribers, but God damn it, I'm going to get there, because here's how I see myself. There's always going to be YouTubers that are funnier than me, that are smarter than me, that know more about comics and reading and are more personable and charming and are more honest. There are always going to be better YouTubers than me, but none of y'all are going to outwork me. That's my superpower. That's the video. I appreciate you for coming by. If you even think about subscribing, thank you. If you stuck around for this long, thank you. I'm feeling very appreciative for everybody who's come on this journey with me so far, and I can't wait to make even more friends. So thanks. Love you. Bye.